Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another interesting topic on income tax. Today we are going to discuss about a new insertion which is mentioned under 194O of Income Tax Act 1961, which are introduced as a part of February 2020 annual budget. And this new insertion is in relation to tax deduction at source which are applicable for e-commerce operator on their certain e-commerce transaction. And this new provision is applicable for students who are pursuing their CA or CMA from June or May 2021 examination onwards. So let's get into detail. This new provision is mentioned under 194O and this provision's effectiveness is with effect from 1st October 2020. Now let's understand, before moving on to 194O, let's understand what exactly is the e-commerce model or how this e-commerce operator make income from their different commercial transaction. Their first source of income is from the marketplace. It is just like they are facilitating a digital market rather than a conventional market. Okay, it is just like a digital market. Okay, and through the digital market they can earn income by B2B sales and B2C sales. It simply means, say for example, a seller who's a wholesaler. Okay, he is making use of some online portal or online platform to sell his products to certain other businessmen, say for example to a retailer. So it can be called as a B2B. A wholesaler is selling their products through an electronic platform to a retailer. Okay, again B2C. Again, a wholesaler or a retailer can sell their products to another customer through an electronic platform. So this e-commerce model is actually giving out those platform. The platform actually meets the seller and the buyer and they earns income. And it can be through direct sales. Direct sales means this e-commerce model will develop their own products or services and they will directly sell or provide these services to different customers. So that is the second main source of income. And the third source of income is income from advertisements. So from promotion of certain products or services, they earn what? Advertisement income. That means this e-commerce models will earn advertisement income. So these three are the main three sources of income for an e-commerce model, or this is how they operate. Now let's get into certain definitions before moving on to 194O. These definitions are given as a part of 194O and it is very important for understanding 194O TDS provision. Okay, starting with the e-commerce operator is defined to mean any person who owns or operates or manages digital or electronic facility or platform for electronic commerce. So any person who owns or operates or manages an electronic facility or a platform is said to be a electronic commerce operator. For example, Amazon, Flipkart, Swiggy, Zomato, you can find n number of examples for that, right? There's Amazon, Flipkart, Swiggy, etc. is providing a electronic platform. Okay, through that electronic platform, different sellers can offer their products or offer their services to different buyers. And let's understand what is this electronic commerce participant or e-commerce participant. It means a person resident in India selling goods or providing services or both, including digital products through digital or electronic facility or platform for electronic commerce. It simply means the seller. So in this video, wherever I mentions electronic commerce participant, you have to understand that it is a seller. Say I'll give you one simple example. Say I am Mr. A. Okay, I am selling my products through this Flipkart. Okay, I am selling my products through this Flipkart. And from this Flipkart, different customers will buy my product. This is what happens. Okay, so Mr. A is said to be a electronic commerce participant and Mr. A should be a resident in India. This is very important. He should be a resident in India. Then only this 194O TDS provision will come into the picture. And who is an electronic commerce operator? It is said to be Flipkart in our example. Hope it is clear. Right? Now let's get into what exactly is 194O. Okay, so 194O is TDS, to be paid at 1% by an electronic commerce operator where sale of goods or provision of service of an electronic commerce participant is facilitated by electronic commerce operator through its digital or electronic facility or platform. Oh my God, what is this? It is quite simple. That simply means that, as I've told you in the earlier example, Mr. A, Flipkart and customer, right? So let's understand this TDS model in a very simple manner. So whenever this customer buys a goods from Flipkart, this seller is the one who sells the particular good, right? So he's selling through this Flipkart online platform, and the customer buys the products and he will make this payment to the Flipkart, and the Flipkart will in turn makes the payment to Mr. A. So the act says while making the payment to Mr. A, they need to deduct TDS at what percentage? At 1% on the gross amount. That's what the act under section 194O is about. It means the deductor is the electronic commerce operator or e-commerce operator, that is said to be Flipkart. Okay, and the deduction is required at the time where sale of goods or provision of services or an electronic commerce participant is facilitated by the e-commerce operator. That's what 194O is about. Okay, and let's get into more details. The time of deduction is the next thing that you need to understand. So it says that at the time of credit of amount of sale or services or both to the account of electronic commerce participant or at the time of payment to such electronic commerce participant by any mode, whichever is earlier. That's what they are saying. It is very simple. In our example, Mr. A was the seller and Flipkart was the operator, right? So it says that the time of deduction, it says the Flipkart either at the time of making a credit for the sale in Flipkart's books of accounts or at the time of making payment, whichever comes first. That is the point of deduction of TDS under 194O. Either at the time of credit in books of accounts of Flipkart or while making the payment to the seller, whichever comes first. That is the point of deduction 1%, whichever is earlier. Again, moving forward, there can be an issue. If the customer directly pays that amount to the e-commerce participant, then it shall be deemed to be the amount credited or paid by the e-commerce operator to the e-commerce participant. For example, there can be an issue. For example, say Mr. A and Flipkart and the customer. In certain transactions, the customer directly credits payment or directly pays the payment to the Mr. A. Okay, then as per 194O, the payment is not routed through Flipkart, right? But as an explanation, they are saying if the customer directly makes the payment to Mr. A, that means to the seller. This Mr. A is said to be the electronic commerce participant. Okay, and if the customer directly makes the payment to the electronic commerce participant, then it says that it shall be deemed to be a payment or a credit made by the e-commerce operator to the e-commerce participant. It simply means it shall be deemed to be a payment which is made or credited by Flipkart directly to the seller. That's what they are saying, directly to Mr. A. That's what they are saying. And hence, in this case also, TDS is required to be deducted and the Flipkart is required to pay an amount of TDS out of their pocket. Then from future transactions, they can adjust that particular amount paid as TDS. That's what they are saying. Hope you are getting my point. That means if the customer is directly paying it to Mr. A, there also Flipkart is required to pay a TDS to the credit of central government out of his pocket. And in future adjustment, they can adjust that amount of payment which is made by Flipkart. That is what is the meaning is. Again, moving forward, there are certain other points. That is the tax is at 1% is required to be deducted from the gross amount of such sale or services. Say, I'll give you one example, and there is one more explanation. This is actually a CBDT circular. That is CBDT where circular number 23/2017 has clarified if GST has been indicated separately in the invoice, then no TDS on that GST component. What do you mean by this? Say, for example, again in our example, A, Flipkart and the customer. Okay, say the product cost is 100 rupees and the GST amount is 18 rupees. Okay, the product cost is 100 rupees and GST amount is 18 rupees and in total 118 rupees will come. So this 118 rupees will be paid by the customer to the Flipkart, right? Then on what amount the TDS deduction is required, that is the question. The amount of TDS deduction required is rupees 100. That's what they are saying. On this 100 rupees, 1% TDS is required to be deducted by the Flipkart, and it required to be paid to the government credit. That's what the Act says. On the GST element of 18 rupees, no TDS is required to be deducted because CBDT has been cleared it by way of a circular, which is number 23/2017. Hope you're getting the point. Okay, so on that 100 rupees, TDS is required to be deducted. On what rate? At 1%. At what time? Either at the time of credit or payment, whichever comes first. That is the point. Again, moving forward, no deduction shall be required if following conditions are satisfied. There are certain relaxation from this TDS 194 TDS deduction. It says that if the e-commerce participant should be an individual or HUF. If the e-commerce participant, that means the seller, in our example, Mr. A. If Mr. A is an individual or an HUF, in our example, Mr. A is definitely an individual, right? And condition number 2, what is condition number 2? The gross amount of such sale or service during the year does not exceed rupees 5 lakhs. That means condition number 2, it says that the gross amount of sales or services payable to Mr. A should not exceed what? 5 lakh rupees. That is condition number 2. And condition number 3, such individual or HUF has furnished PAN or Aadhaar number to the electronic commerce operator. Now let's understand these conditions in our example. So there are 3 conditions. All of these conditions are cumulatively required to be satisfied. Then only there is a relaxation on 194.0. So let's understand this example. It's very simple. That means Mr. A in our example was an individual, right? Mr. A was the seller and Flipkart was there as the electronic commerce operator, and there is a customer, that is C. Mr. A is an individual. Then all the transaction between Flipkart and Mr. A should not exceed 5 lakh rupees. That means the transaction in a year between Flipkart and Mr. A, the seller, should not exceed what? 5 lakh rupees. Along with that Mr. A is required to submit his PAN number or Aadhaar number to the Flipkart. All of these 3 conditions are satisfied, then 194.0 TDS deduction is not required to be done. It has been given as an relaxation to individual and HUF, electronic commerce participant. Hope you got my point. Again, moving forward, there are other certain things. It says that the transaction in respect of which tax has been deducted under 194.0 or which is not liable to be deducted, that is a relaxation to individual or HUF, then it should not be subjected to any other provisions of this TDS chapter. It simply means that if on a particular transaction, this particular TDS provision comes in, that is TDS is already deducted, then under chapter 17b, no other TDS provision will come into picture. That's what they are saying. Once a particular transaction has been subjected to 194.0, on that same transaction, no other TDS provision is required to be deducted. That's what they are saying. And there is one more point in relation to this. TDS under 194.0 is applicable on amount received by an electronic commerce operator for hosting advertisement. That simply means that, as I've told you in that e-commerce model, that e-commerce operator will get advertisement income for promoting certain products and services. On that advertisement income, no TDS 194.0 will not come into the picture in whatsoever. Okay, that's what they are saying. TDS under 194.0 is not applicable on any amount received by an electronic commerce operator for hosting advertisement or providing any other services which are not in connection with the sale or services provided to e-commerce participant. It simply means that the TDS under 194.0 is required to be deducted on a particular series of transactions. That is, for example, the e-commerce operator, when he is providing certain services to the e-commerce participant, that means sales or services, on this 194.0 is required to be deducted. On no other sales or no other services, 194.0 is not required to be deducted. That's what they are saying. Only this e-commerce operator to that e-commerce participant, on that transaction, that is sale or service, TDS is required to be deducted. No other services requires a deduction under 194.0. And again, requirement to furnish PAN under 206AA. Under section 206AA, if the e-commerce participant, that means in our example, Mr. A, okay, and the Flipkart was the operator and there is a customer. right? So in our example, say for example, if the Mr. A, if he's not producing PAN to the Flipkart, if Mr. A is not giving out his PAN to the Flipkart, A is the seller, right? Not producing his PAN to the Flipkart, then what will happen? The rate of TDS, instead of 1%, it will be 5% under section 206AA. Section 206AA is making it clear that if the seller, that means if the participant is not producing his PAN to the Flipkart or to the operator, then what will happen? Then the rate of TDS is required to be deducted at what rate? At 5% rather than 1%. That's what the Act states about. So that's all about 194O. Hope you got my point clear, and see you on next Sunday with yet another interesting topic on income tax. Take care and bye-bye.